Welcome back to Long Island Viewpoint. I'm Ken Rosato. With me today is a Long Island native known to many as Chef Big Shake. He worked his way up from restaurant dishwasher to chef to entrepreneur, and although he was passed up on the reality show Shark Tank, he got the funding to take his business national, and his products are now carried in 2,500 stores. Please join me in welcoming Shawn Davis, a.k.a. Chef Big Shake. Good to have you with us, Shawn.
What's up, Long Island?
Good to have you here. You're in the whole tri-state. We're focusing on Long Island today. And first of all, let's talk about Shark Tank.
Yes, yes.
What we're going to talk about some of your products.
Well, I brought on the show the shrimp burger.
Right.
The shrimp burger was out of, I guess my daughter kind of inspired me to make the shrimp burger. She came home one day and said she wants to become a vegetarian at the age of 10. I convinced her to stay with some protein, some fish and shrimp, and I started making patties for on burger night, and that's where it started.
There you go. See, that's a great concept there. So you keep the protein levels up.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of, I know a lot of kids say, or especially young girls, not to focus in specifically, but a lot of young ladies, they want to protect the animals. They don't like the animal slaughter concept, so they like the vegetarianism, but they forget that they need protein.
They need the protein.
And tofu only gives you so much.
Oh, yes.
Of all the amino acids. So that's a really great concept of keeping her in that.
Yes.
So tell me about the balanced diet that you like to talk about. When people go shopping, what are the essential foods you should always have in your grocery cart?
Well, you know what? The produce aisle. You start with the produce aisle. I mean, we've gotten away over the past years when I was growing up. I mean, we stayed in the produce aisle, cabbage, fruits and vegetables. I think now we're more geared to the sales and the 10 for 10s and the canned food aisle. But stay fresh. You know, stay fresh and get your meats, get your protein, your beef, your chicken, and of course your fish. I'm a big promoter of seafood. So, I mean, fish by all means. Over beef, I would suggest, but, you know, if you like the beef, keep it lean, but stay with some more fish and some omega-3s.
I remember when I was moving out of the house, I had a grandmother who used to say that if you're, in terms of greens, she said if you can't just rinse it, dry it, saute it with a little olive oil and a little bit of garlic, and this will work for almost anything. She says, then either steam it or boil it for a minute.
That's it.
Dry it, then saute it with a little olive oil and garlic, and that's true of any single green. I'm sure that'll work with collards, mustards, anything, right?
Kale, you don't want to pull those nutrients out. You know, a very quick cook. You know, leafy greens, your spinach, your kale, your collard greens. I mean, it's so many nutrients packed inside those green vegetables. It's insane.
And I say it only because a lot of people probably today are afraid, especially young people. They look at greens, they think, don't know how to prepare it, so I'm going to leave it alone.
They run away. They run away. But you know what? There's so many recipes out there, and now YouTube, and you have your cooking channel. I mean, there's so many opportunities out there for people who don't know how to cook to learn how to cook very quickly. I mean, incorporating vegetables into your dishes like macaroni and cheese, which is a comfort food that everybody loves. Throw some carrots in there. Throw some peas in there. Start incorporating those vegetables so that way, you know, you're still getting nutrients, but also you're still enjoying your comfort food.
And who doesn't love a little edamame?
Oh, come on, man.
Throw a handful of edamame.
A little salt, pepper.
Done.
Beautiful, beautiful.
What about some of the exotic proteins or some of the fish that's out there? So many. It used to be that you only had flounder or there are a lot of exotic fish out there.
Yeah, you have your groupers now. Grouper is a very popular fish down the south, off the coast of Florida. Myself, I'm a swordfish man. I love swordfish. It's very, very dense meat, almost like a steak. I mean, but, you know, you want to start venturing out and trying to look for things that have high omega-3s, high protein content. That way it can replace a lot of those fatty meats like your beef and so forth. So I look for the steaky, your swordfish, your salmon steaks. Very good as a substitute.
And there's even, if you're a meat lover, you're a red meat lover, there's even bison meat, which is lower in fat, higher in protein, and it still has that good, satisfying red meat.
Yes.
Right?
Bison burgers, your veal, your bison burgers are huge right now because of the low content of fat. So, and shrimp burgers. Can't forget about shrimp burgers. You know, our shrimp burgers have 25 grams of protein and only 2 grams of fat.
Wow.
So, I mean, incorporating this handheld high-protein sandwiches like shrimp and putting in a burger, I mean, people love shrimp. And, you know, it's the highest consumed seafood in America, and the transition is easy. So, you know, shrimp burgers is where it's at.
There you go. Said as a true entrepreneur.
Yes.
I gotta ask, are you allowed to say what do you bind it together with? A little egg white?
You know what? We use all natural binders, a little egg white product, you're right, and that's it. So we don't use any other biotrains or anything like that you know, usually keep things together. We keep it all natural.
Can you tell I'm a foodie?
Oh, yes.
All right.
I hear you talking.
I'm just saying.
I hear you talking.
So here, your typical day, if you have a kid who's going to school, How important do you think it is still for a parent to pack that school lunch?
Oh, very important, because you want to make sure you monitor what your kid's putting in their system. You know, once they leave your house and go to the school lunch cafeteria, you know, you have no idea if they're getting seconds or thirds. But, you know, I always think kids like to eat with their hands. You know, silverware is pretty much out of the picture at a school age. So your celery sticks, your carrot sticks, you know, your light dressing on the side, fresh meats, you know, your deli meats, turkey slices, roast beef slices, you know, and 100% juice. You know, you want to give them any of these Hawaiian Punch box juices. You want to keep it natural, so fresh juices. And I mean, to control what they're putting in their system, you kind of want to make sure it starts at home.
And focus more on what, the turkeys and the roast beefs, as opposed to the more processed meats like the salamis, and the
peanut butter and jelly sandwich and the jam sandwiches. Kind of stay away from those high sugar substitutes, and, you know, go with some lean meat and some lean protein. Keep that kid excited during the school day. You don't want him sleeping as soon as he gets to school because of the high sugar.
And a little lower fat cheese doesn't hurt.
Absolutely. Cheese sticks are very popular. Throw it right in their bag.
And whole wheat versus white whenever possible.
Whole wheat versus white. Obviously, the white bread is going to definitely turn into sugar. So you want to get some whole wheat breads in there for the kids. And, you know, you want to keep them lean and mean and bright. And, you know, kids don't want to go to school with chocolate milk and draining them. And by third period, they're tired and want to go to sleep and take a nap. So you want to give them energy food.
That's right. This is a good way to do it. And introduce your kids to a lot of different flavors.
Absolutely.
I remember growing up as a kid, I mean, my family, we used to have everything. And my friends at school used to look at me like I was crazy. And now they all come to my house for dinner, and they're like, man, you had calamari when you were 5 years old. Now, now that we go out to restaurants, that's all I order. So I was like avant-garde back then, you know? This is awesome stuff. So this is the way to go then. It's healthful eating. Unfortunately, we are just a processed food society. It's crazy. The high sodium, high fat, high carbohydrate, and unfortunately, childhood obesity is skyrocketing. Diabetes, adult heart attack, cancer through the roof, colon cancer rates through the roof. The way to fight this starts right with diet.
Starts right with diet. And, you know, it starts with the children. You know, if you take your kid to the supermarket, shop with them, show them what you're putting inside the basket. Stay away from the aisles with all the candy and the syrups and the sweets. Take them right to the produce section and start teaching them about, there's so many different vegetables out there that weren't there on the produce shelf when I was growing up. So, I mean, teach them. Learn them, and, you know, I mean, that'll transcend to the junior high, high school, and hopefully the adulthood.
Hey, when they sell lettuce that's already washed and carrots that are already peeled, come on. It doesn't get much easier than that.
Absolutely.
All right, Shawn Davis, Chef Big Shake, thank you so much for being with us today. It's great to have you here.
Same here.
I'm Ken Rosato. We thank you again for joining us. Go ahead and get some good vegetables and some lean fish and chicken and make it the right way. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.